All right, we're heading over to India for the latest from the IPL. Only 10.1 overs were possible in match 58 between Punjab Kings and Delhi Capitals before play was abandoned earlier on Thursday due to what the league's office has termed a significant technical failure at the Kings' home stadium in the city of Dharamsala. Openers Priyansh Arya 70 from 34 balls and Prabhasran Singh's 28 ball 50 had pushed the hosts to 122 for 1 before play was called off. The IPL is yet to attribute any points for the game, which keeps Punjab in third on 15 and the Capitals fifth on 13. Now, before the Board of Control for Cricket in India had confirmed that play was abandoned due to a power outage, there were fears the events were related to the recent exchanges across the India-Pakistan border. The Indian Army executed deadly missile strikes across the border on Wednesday, which they said was in response to an April terror attack in which Pakistan has denied any involvement. Now, a few hours before today's clash, the IPL announced plans to shift Punjab Kings' last home game of the season, which is set to take place Sunday against Mumbai Indians, to the city of Ahmedabad. Now, the change was prompted by the rise in tension, which has led to the closure of multiple airports in the region. Fazeer is still with us. Fazeer, what do you make of this one?
Yes, well, this is a situation where cricket has almost become secondary because essentially it's about life and limb, it's about safety of the citizenry. And indeed, Gautam Gambhir, the Indian coach, has said that look, there shouldn't be even any talk of cricket between India and Pakistan right now because there are far more important things that are going on. So yes, there'll be concern. Of course, there's a lot of focus on the IPL. They're coming towards the playoffs. It's really excitement building up. But obviously, when you've got a situation where these two nations who are ideological rivals, who have a history dating back to the partition of 1947. So you're talking about generations of animosity at many different levels, even if thankfully it doesn't materialize too often on the cricket field. But given what is going now, which I'm following some of the news reporting, describing it as some of the worst for more than 2 decades, when there was a situation in 1999 in the Kargil region of the Kashmir, where it was so bad, you might recall, there was supposed to have been a series between India and Pakistan in Toronto, and the West Indies were invited as a third team to play against Pakistan, to play against India, because they didn't want to play against each other at that time. So yes, it could jeopardize the IPL. It's also affecting the PSL because some matches have already been postponed, have been rescheduled, and all of that is happening because clearly there's something that is happening here that is far greater than games of bat and ball.
Yeah, and Cricket West Indies has appreciated that. There's a report coming out in the last couple of hours that with 8 West Indies players in the Indian Premier League, Cricket West Indies is saying they're in active communication with the Board of Control of Cricket in India and the Pakistan Cricket Board. And our players, they say, are currently involved in the Indian Premier League and Pakistan Super League. They continued, an official from the CWI said, we have also engaged our strategic partner, West Indies Players Association, to coordinate and ensure the safety and security and well-being of all West Indies players and support personnel in the region. The welfare of our people remains our highest priority. I don't know that they have issued this as a full-scale media release yet, Cricket West Indies, but one of the international news agencies reported that, Faz. And I guess given what happened today, it isn't surprising that the CWI is having, a close eye on this one.
Yes, and it is a full-scale release. It is a proper media release from Cricket West Indies because I got it on my phone earlier today. And that's good to see that they're monitoring the situation. They're in touch with the BCCI and the PCB because Caribbean players are their safety, and if they've got families there as well, loved ones there as well, that will be paramount. And therefore, they're looking to ensure that if anything untoward, if the situation deteriorates, there's some talk about shifting matches to Dubai. If it comes to that, that's almost always seen as a first option for both India and Pakistan because not so long ago for the Champions Trophy, India were based in Dubai, on the way to winning the title itself. They didn't even have to go to Pakistan, who were the nominal host of the tournament. So yes, that is encouraging to see that at least there's an awareness that, look, we've got to ensure that our players are properly taken care of and evacuated if it becomes necessary.
Yeah, and the reports are also suggesting that cricket officials in India were huddled in a meeting late into the evening and may very well come up with some of the proposals that you've just mentioned about moving matches to Dubai and so on.
Yes, and at the end of the day, there are two levels here. One is the level of a conflict between two nations and safety and security of everyone, the wider population, not just cricketers. And secondly, because you've got a cricketing event, two cricketing events in India, in Pakistan, significant interest, global interest, revenues, television rights, personnel, people from other countries. So there's a lot tied into that. The logistics are going to be nightmarish for both sets of organizers to try to reschedule matches if it comes to that. But at the end of the day, you do what you have to do because there's a greater thing going on that you have no control over. A conflict like this could take off. We haven't seen it take off for a long time. We hope it doesn't, because it could degenerate into something really violent, because they share a lengthy border, India and Pakistan. They are nuclear armed states. You don't even want to contemplate what could happen in a full-scale confrontation, which we hope never materializes for the sake of everyone. But yes, you've got to put contingencies in place. And from a selfish, narrow-minded cricketing point of view, the organizers, the broadcasters will do what they have to do to look at the various scenarios to allow for the tournaments to conclude.
Yeah, I see where, regarding the league's overall conduct, one of the proposals from the BCCI is to organize a special train for everyone involved in the IPL, Dharamshala, players, families, broadcasters, crew and so on, moving to Delhi for that particular assignment. Is that something that is in your mind workable, or this could escalate to make that, not really a viable option?
It really depends on the level of escalation, Lance, and you've touched on the important point. If this thing deteriorates rapidly and there are drones exploding all over the place, 1 train, 10 trains, a plane wouldn't make a difference at that stage. But it's sort of like the COVID situation, where basically for any cricket to be played, everyone was basically on the same train, on the same plane, on the same bus, the same testing, everything else. It was all corralled in a particular area because of a health scare. This is the fear of a military conflagration. And again, let's hope it doesn't happen. But yes, they're putting things in place, hoping that things don't deteriorate. But I'm sure in those meetings, wherever else they're taking place, they will be looking at plans A, B, C, D, and E, and maybe plan Z about calling off the whole thing and resuming when things stabilize, maybe in 6 months' time, as happened in COVID time in 2020. So there are all these options on the table. But again, with so much that is very uncertain, I think it's just a matter of wait and see, but put things in place in the event of XYZ.
Yeah, how disappointing is this, though, Faz, as a cricket journalist and a cricket fan, because you are a cricket fan, because this isn't something completely new. There wasn't any international cricket played in Pakistan for several years after the attack on a bus there for the other touring team. So given that kind of situation and the fact that this has surfaced before from the standpoint of safety of players and people involved, how disappointing is this for you?
It is disappointing. Yeah, and I suppose if I were younger, Lance, and if I was all eager and gung-ho about this tournament and watching every ball and excited about how it's shaping up and who's going to make the playoffs, will KKR survive and so on, I could understand the level of anxiety. But with age, it hasn't brought much wisdom, but with age, you realize that, there are more important things in life. And at the end of the day, you cannot compromise the safety of anyone associated with these activities, whatever they may be. Because at the end of the day, as much as we look forward to it, many of us live for it, I'm already counting down to the next Football World Cup. in the United States, Canada, and Mexico next year, because I can't wait for the thing to get going. But if, let's heaven forbid, something similar were to happen along those borders, it becomes irrelevant. It therefore puts it in its place. Yes, global sport captivates the world, but at the end of the day, in real terms, it is only sport. It means a lot, but it doesn't mean as much as someone's life or the safety and the well-being of those involved.
But having said that, then, Faz, I'm going to ask you to put your news cap on and give me your thoughts on the conflict, not the effects of the conflict on cricket, but any thoughts on this conflict between India and Pakistan, because I know you're widely read and you follow these things closely.
As I was mentioning before, I think it's far more serious than previous incidents over the last 10, 15 years. That's why I mentioned the Kargil situation of 1999. But again, you could only hope that the authorities recognize a doomsday scenario rescues no one, helps no one, and therefore, even as what is going on, you might want to call it saber rattling to a certain degree, because it's also about this. It's also about showing that, certainly for the people of Pakistan, that the people of Kashmir, who are predominantly Muslim, that they are in solidarity with them, because there's that feeling of persecution. On the other side, you've got India saying that, no, this thing happens too often. Whether it's Mumbai in 2008, whether there's something else somewhere, there almost always seems to be some sort of issue where Pakistan are accused, if not overtly, of covert involvement in terrorist activities. But at the end of the day, you would hope that good sense will prevail and that the skirmishes will not deteriorate. It doesn't look particularly encouraging right now, but I think everyone would be aware of the potential catastrophic consequences if it were to really be allowed to deteriorate.
Yeah, okay, Faz, we're going to leave it there, and this is a massive story that we have to follow, and we'll continue to track this story, not only for the news value, but because it impacts so heavily on the IPL, which is on the SportsMax platforms, and has been since 2007, a major content of cricket well, globally, and in our case right here in the Caribbean. But Faz, thanks a lot again for your usual concise and impressive views on issues, and we'll be in touch on this one for sure.
Thanks again, Lance. Take care.
Yeah, Fazir Mohammed there, and yeah, Ricardo, we have to agree with Fazir, because we think the cricket is important because we all love sport, but the safety issue here and the risk of lives and so on has to be paramount at the moment.
Yeah, without a doubt, and definitely cannot disagree with Fazir on this one.
Having disagreed with him on the previous segment, but somehow I don't think we've heard the last of that story. We'll go to break now. We'll be back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this.